something we're starting to see in our market is that it's harder and harder to find that home that you really, really want. So everybody wants a home that's HGTV ready. We're ready to move into it today. And what folks are finding is that a lot of those houses just aren't on the market, or if they are on the market, they can be prohibitively expensive. So what I would like to introduce is basically the idea of how hard is it really to buy a fixer-upper? Buy a house that is affordable, in your price range, and available, and maybe you have the opportunity to actually get into that home. So what would it mean? It would mean that perhaps you have the opportunity to buy a house that's a fixer-upper that has really ugly colors, maybe terrible carpet, maybe it smells. That's the smell of money. That's the smell of opportunity. And so what I'd offer is that even though it sounds like maybe that's not what you want to do, perhaps it's the best way to get into that home because it's available, you can buy it. And remember, you don't have to do all the work yourself. Just because it needs paint doesn't mean that you can't hire a contractor. Because guess what? The professional painter is going to do it better than we can. So I am not a professional painter. I can paint, but you can tell that it was me who did it, right? It's just not the same. And so I know a lot of folks say, well, I have a job. I'm checking into a new squadron. I'm going to a new command. I don't want to deal with that. I get it. Well, you know what's easy to not deal with is just a contractor. Just call them and have them go do it for you when you're at work. And next thing you know, it's taken care of and it's the color you want and everything is great because you picked it. And that's the way it is. So it's an idea that you could take a fixer-upper, something that maybe you can afford better. It's more available. You contact a contractor, you get them on a timeline, you put some money down, and the cost of that contractor is probably less than the opportunity cost of missing out on that property that has already been flipped or rehabbed or is a new construction. Those are expensive and they're in high demand. So you get the one that's less price, not in as high demand, and you just add value to it yourself. And if you get the right contractor, it's a week, right? And now you've got exactly what you want and you're in the house. So how exactly do you buy a fixer-upper? A lot of folks, you see all those investors with cash offers. You don't have to have $100,000, $200,000, $700,000 in cash to buy a house. You can get a loan. It could be a rehab loan or just a conventional loan. It depends what condition that house is in. If it's in the least bit livable, you can get a conventional loan. If it's just bad paint and bad carpet, you can get a VA loan as long as the roof is good and it's in good shape. Just because it's ugly doesn't mean you can't finance it, right? So you can get a good VA loan, get that thing, get moved into it, get it into the right colors. That's awesome. Or you can go get a conventional loan if it's in not as great a shape, or maybe it's in terrible shape and now you need to go into alternative financing. And now you're looking at a rehab loan or maybe even some form of private money like you have for an investor. Now that's a little bit more difficult if that's not what you normally do. We do have ways of doing that, but that's not really necessary in most cases. So unless the thing is missing a roof, there's probably something you can do to finance it. And buying in a fixer-upper for a property that you can live in, you can finance it. And once you put a whole bunch of money into it, let's say you put $10,000 or $20,000 into it and you want to refinance, you can do that. Maybe interest rates will drop and you'll get an even better deal than you would get right today buying the brand new fixed home or new construction. All right, food for thought.